Cuba's aging national grid has collapsed. 10 million people plunged into darkness. It is the fourth nationwide blackout in 5 weeks. Hospitals are running on emergency systems. Water treatment has stopped, and the government has no timeline for when the lights come back. The grid didn't fail overnight. It has been failing for years. Cuba has been plunged into a nationwide blackout after the country's electricity grid collapsed, leaving almost 10 million people without power and deepening an energy crisis that has intensified in recent months. The state-run electricity operator, Unión Eléctrica, announced late on August 2nd that the national grid had failed, but gave no immediate explanation for the collapse or a timeline for restoring electricity. The latest outage follows 3 nationwide blackouts in July, highlighting the growing strain on Cuba's aging power system. Authorities are attempting to restore electricity by first creating isolated power networks to supply hospitals, water treatment facilities, and food production centers before reconnecting larger generating plants. Cuba's electricity system has deteriorated after years of aging infrastructure, repeated breakdowns at thermoelectric plants, and chronic shortages of fuel and replacement parts. The government says the crisis has been made significantly worse by United States sanctions and restrictions on fuel supplies. Cuba lost a major source of oil after Washington imposed an oil blockade earlier this year, while fuel imports from Venezuela and Mexico have also been disrupted. Before the nationwide failure, Havana's electricity company had already reported widespread outages caused by damaged transformers, circuit failures, and insufficient generating capacity. Residents across multiple municipalities had lodged dozens of unresolved complaints as rolling blackouts became increasingly common. Havana resident Daimel Rodriguez said he had grown accustomed to sleeping without electricity and that the situation had become unbearable, adding that his only wish was to leave the country.
The problem with the national electric system going out is that people are exhausted. They can't take it anymore. This is unbearable. What can I say? I can't say anything more. This is unbearable. I don't know if the national electric system even exists, my friend. I've gotten used to sleeping without electricity.
The prolonged electricity shortages have disrupted transport, communications, water supplies, healthcare services, and food distribution. The Cuban government argues that severe US sanctions and restrictions on access to fuel, financing, and equipment are driving the crisis. Authorities have also approved the country's first foreign-backed fuel import venture and authorized nearly 200 Cuban businesses to participate in wholesale fuel distribution in an effort to improve supplies. Al Jazeera wrote that authorities typically attempt to recover from a total collapse by creating small isolated power networks to supply hospitals, water systems, and food facilities before gradually reconnecting larger generating plants. With no estimate for when full power will return, millions of Cubans remain without electricity as authorities race to rebuild a grid that has now suffered multiple nationwide failures in just a matter of weeks.